Youth Theater.
And I'm Fernald. I'm the artistic director and the director of this production.
I think we'll get all those housekeeping details out of the way first. Please turn off your cell phones. You are more than welcome to take any pictures you want. We would like those not to be flash photography because those will distract the actors. Also, feel free to videotape, but we ask that if you post it anywhere in social media, to say something like, "This is from Justice for All Youth, a production by Out and Alley Youth Theater," or something like that would be great. Fire exits, the way you came in, and through 2 sets of double doors this way. And the bathrooms are upstairs on the 3rd floor. They're all unlocked. And I guess I want to say a few thanks to some organizations. First of all, I want to particularly thank the Colby College Education Program for their continuing years of support for Out and Alley Youth Theater. And I will just say, just to embarrass him, Mark Tappan is here. And as well, Colby College's Potter and Wig, their student-run theater, of which Lily belongs. And Lily is the liaison between them and Out and Alley Youth Theater. The Waterville Opera House has been enormously supportive since Out and Alley Youth Theater has come into existence. And also Colby College's Center for the Arts and Humanities and the Theater and Dance Program. I want to give, or we all want to give a particular thanks to Waterville Creates and Nate Rudy for inviting us into this space to craft our work, experiment, devise theater, and do performances such as this. We've had this wonderful opportunity to manage this theater in exchange for using the space. But I think in addition to this space, they provided us with a storage room back in September that we all began to work on and transformed it into a wonderful room that you're going to see later during reception, where we'll have food, so we really want you to come and see that. And you know, this afternoon, or tonight, is our last performance, so we kind of just hung out, and everybody got here around 6, and actually some of us have been here since 12:30 and just hung here. And for me, it was just wonderful to see this tight, supportive, safe group of folks, myself included, just talking about anything and just chit-chatting in this wonderful warm, and you'll see how warm the room is when you get there, and that just touches my heart. So that's all I'm going to say.
So please enjoy our performance. It's a workshop right now, so it's a work in progress. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Justice for Our Youth.
Some of us don't don't have a gender to fit into. Some of us don't have the right criteria. For some of us, we're just us. And for some of us, that's all we want to be. We don't want to be asked to choose a label. We don't want to try and define ourselves. If you want to know who we are, then learn. Interact with us. Speak to us. Listen to us. Define us by who we are, not what we say we are. So, to the next person I tell that I have no gender, don't think of me as confused, misguided, or as a person who thinks little of myself. That's simply not the case. I am only me.
I grew up in a small town. I went to a very small K-6 school. Almost every afternoon, my friends and I would do something after school. Sometimes we'd head to the ball field to play soccer or softball. Sometimes we'd go swimming or just ride our bikes around town. My parents got divorced when I was about 5. I haven't seen my dad since, and that's always been okay because my mom is so supportive. She always came to sporting events and school activities, even when she had to take time off from work. If I only knew. I was 12 when I went to middle school for 7th grade. Kids from 4 towns went to this school. I don't know what's wrong. My stomach is in knots. My new school is so big. I'm afraid to go to school. Some of my friends have stopped hanging out with me. I can't even sleep. My mom heard me crying one night and came into my room. She already knew something was really bothering me. She hugged me. We talked. She suggested that we go talk with my school guidance counselor. I've always trusted my mom. She's always been there for me. My guidance counselor listened as both my mom and I talked about how I was feeling, how I was so scared and nervous about everything. I remember he didn't talk much about my slipping grades and the number of times that I was absent. He suggested that I go to my doctor to make sure nothing physical was going on that was making me so very anxious. On the way to my doctor's, my mom and I talked about what my doctor's appointment would be like, that he'd give me a physical and want to hear from us about my anxiety. My doctor gave me a quick checkup. Everything was good. I didn't have an infection. He reminded us that I did have a complete physical in the fall so that I could play school sports. He said he was very concerned about my anxiety and fears. He told us he knew a little bit about anxiety and how it can be treated with medication. Medication that would help and not be a danger to me. He gave us a 1-page handout to look at when we talked about this. He said that a psychiatrist would know more different options, including medication. He recommended the best one he knew. Off we go to another appointment. I tell my mom that I'm starting to feel guilty about the number of days she's taking off from work, that I'm sorry. She said,
I'm your biggest fan. Don't ever forget that.
The psychiatrist asked us a bunch of questions to get my case history. I remember that I was getting tired of telling my story over and over again. The psychiatrist said he thought I might have an anxiety disorder. He gave us a handout that listed symptoms. He said that just to make sure, he wanted to give me a test that is valid and reliable, whatever that means. After I benzodiazepine, and gave me a prescription. He told us that according to everything he had read over at conferences, I should start to feel better in a couple of weeks. That I might have to take Hadean for a long time, even the rest of my life. When my mom asked about side effects, he said that they're usually minor, and if I needed, my medication could be increased safely. It was just like the psychiatrist said. Well, mostly. I did feel better, less anxious in a couple of weeks, but as time went by, my anxiety slowly built. So my mom and I went back to the psychiatrist, and just like he said, my dosage was increased. Each time this happened, he told us that this was what was recommended from the journal articles he had read. I don't know how, but I made it through high school. My psychiatrist increased my Ativan, I don't know how many times. Still, I felt tense and stressed most of the time. I lost friends during high school. Some because I stopped doing things after school with them. Some because I took what they told me in the worst possible way. It seemed to find that no matter what they said, no matter how they said it, I thought they were saying bad things about me, or that I had done something wrong. I think they just got tired of me. Believe it or not, my grades were good enough to go to college, but then the shit hit the fan. It was only a couple of months before I was too scared to even leave my room. Being in classes with people I didn't know, way too many people, was just too much to deal with. My roommate moved out. My anxiety was overwhelming and all-consuming. I was angry and raged. I began to have thoughts of killing myself. I now know that these are side effects of taking Ativan for so many years, even though I only ever took it as prescribed. I was so scared and didn't know what to do. I'm lucky in a big way. My mom let me move back home. We talked and talked. I don't know when, but I remember we decided to stop taking Ativan. I just wanted to feel like I did before I started taking that fucking drug, even though I couldn't really remember. My mom and I discovered a different psychiatrist, one who knew so much more than the other one who was upfront with us. She told us that tapering off of Ativan would take months and months, that I would at times be foggy, that my body might hurt, that I might rage for no apparent reason, that I would be overly sensitive to what people said, that bright lights would bother me, that I'd be desperate to control my life and the things around me. She said that I would experience windows and waves, good times and bad times. She said that exercising, doing yoga, meditating, maybe some diet changes might help. I will always remember her words. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but you will heal each and every day. Why aren't I all fucking better? I've been completely off of Ativan for 9 months. I know I'm getting healthier. My mom tells me that all the time. But it feels like it's taking forever. Some days are good. I'm happy and feel in control. But sometimes I just want to die. Somebody, anybody, everybody has to know my story. If only I knew.
If only I knew.
If only I knew. If only I knew.
My dad was very excited when I was born. He worked at night all the time when I was a kid. He would wake me up to get ready for school. I moved around a bit. First I lived in Duncan, then we moved to Waterville, then to Oakland. Mid-third grade, we back to Waterville, where I live now. It was around when I entered middle school that I realized I was gay. I came out to my dad with a letter when I was in 7th grade and my life became 10 times harder. My grades started dropping in school and I was, and still am, very stressed and depressed because he didn't accept me for who I am. He later found out that I had a girlfriend and would always tease me about it, saying things like, "So why do you gotta get a boyfriend?" I told him we broke up and he thought that I made it straight. I was scared to tell anyone else in my family about my sexual orientation because of my dad's reaction. My grandmother came to me and told me she already knew I was gay, and I came out to her and my aunt. My stepmom knew as well. My grandmother on my stepmom's side has been in my life since I was 7 months old. She was always the one my dad went to when he didn't know what to do with me if I was sick or something. My grandmother on my dad's side made my grandmother leave and cut her off from my family. I didn't know where she went. It was like she dropped off the face of the earth. And I didn't know when my grandfather took her away from me. She moved to Oakland, and I discovered this after being without her for a half a year, and my dad started bringing me there every week. I got to play video games and stay for a week at a time sometimes, and I just loved being there. I stopped going up there around 5th grade when my dad made my stepmom leave. I didn't see them all 5th grade, and then I started visiting her in Brunswick at the end of 5th grade with my grandmother's new boyfriend. Sometime in 4th grade, my dad was in a car accident and broke his arm and was unable to work. After he fully healed, my dad called the cops on my stepmom and made her leave. I was so confused and upset. I didn't know why he did this, and I didn't see her for a long time. As I was growing up, I always thought my stepmom was my real mom. It wasn't until 6th grade that I learned otherwise that my birth mom had committed suicide a few years prior to my discovery. My stepmom was a great mom. She played with me and helped me with my homework. She drove around a lot and made me laugh. I loved her a lot. Now she lives in an apartment over at my grandmother's with a lot of my family in the same building, like my uncle, my aunt who sometimes checks in, my mom, and her new boyfriend. My brother and I stop in on the weekends. My brother was born when I was young. We used to be really close. We would always play together. I taught him how to crawl even. We kind of stopped hanging out when I got to middle school. I was getting older and I didn't want to play with his stupid toys. Basically, my family split into who supports me and into my stepmom's side of the family being supportive, and my dad's side being, well, unsupportive. My dad's side of the family tends to be very homophobic. When I came out to my dad, he said we'd talk about it later, but he never wanted to. He generally wants to talk. With the way my family reacts to my sexual orientation and other social problems I have experienced, I have become an introvert. Fear of rejection when people realize who I am. It's made it so now I'm more likely to talk to people and make friends online when we don't know each other or live near each other than I am to do so with people I know in the real world. It's made it hard to talk to people because I've lost confidence in myself. I stutter and try to keep myself because I don't have the desire to shine in friends in real life. I feel like part of the reason my grades are dropping is because I'm always online talking to people because I don't get the social interaction I need in real life when I'm in school or out doing other things. My stress and depression has caused me to withdraw from life, lose weight, and have bad skin problems. It's made it so I feel alone, that I feel like I'm always losing the people I care about. I'm losing hope that I can make new friends or that I'll ever be able to be accepted by my own father. Everything is just very hard right now.
I've always known I was a little different. I didn't always know how, but I knew I wasn't like all got a little older, I used to play dress-up and football. Somewhere in my mother's photo album, there's a picture of me in a tutu racing my bike through the mud. I remember one day I was over at my grandfather's. I was young, maybe 11. He was talking about something. I don't remember what. I heard this phrase, a lesbian stuck in a man's body. This phrase stuck with me. I had never felt entirely right in my body. I always felt like something was wrong. Maybe something was missing or something else was there that shouldn't be. I had always felt like I didn't fit. I tried to ignore this feeling because it couldn't be normal. The way I figured, I was born a boy. That was all there was to it. And there was nothing I could do about it. So I let it bother me. Needless to say, it still bothered me. I managed to ignore it well enough for a couple of years, but every now and then it would just hit me. The thought of it scared me. What was wrong with me? Was I broken? What was I supposed to do? What would I do if this feeling was right? What would people think, my friends and my family? How would I tell them? Would they still love me? I didn't really understand, not until I was much older, and even then, I wasn't certain of it for a long time. I battled back and forth with myself for years. After a long time of hiding it, and after a lot of research, I finally was able to admit to myself, I may have been born into a woman's body, but that doesn't mean that's what I am. I'm still not quite sure what I am, but I know now that I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not.
When I was a young buck, I tried to be liked by everyone, everyone. I tried so hard to be funny and nice. I tried so hard to be sugar and spice. Didn't work for me, got old quickly. But now I'm not losing sleep at night, 'cause no one's calling me on the telephone. See if I'm at home. 'Cause now I've got everything that I've ever wanted. Oh, so it seems. Yeah, so it seems, yeah. I obviously don't remember much about my life before I was around 7. But here are the facts. I was born in Augusta, Maine, September 7th, 1997. I was a week late, so I was for sure fully developed. I was perfectly healthy. I reached my milestones early. I talked early, walked early. Heck, I crawled for like a day before I started walking. I guess I've always been a fast learner. Sometimes I get so weird, I even freak myself out. I laugh myself to sleep. It's my lullaby. Sometimes I drive so fast just to feel the danger. I wanna scream, it makes me feel alive. Is it enough to love? Is it enough to breathe? Somebody rip my heart out and leave me here to bleed. Is it enough to die? Somebody save my life. I'd rather be anything but ordinary, please. From a young age, I was a bright student. My teachers were always proud of the work I did. I was a teacher's pet, I suppose. I was always beyond my reading criteria, and even in science and history, which to this day I still hate with a passion, I did well. High school wasn't much different. I missed a lot of school due to multiple reasons, but I still stayed on top of my work. As a young child, I was incredibly spoiled. Well, okay, I'm still pretty spoiled. I was never physically hurt at home unless it was my own doing. I would get dozens of new toys for birthdays and Christmas. I was loved, respected, and appreciated by my parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and I'm pretty sure my brother loved me too. Conversations with my 13 got into reading, I would go to the library and find the dinosaur picture books. I liked the T-Rex one the most. It had the most blood in it. I also had a hard time controlling my anger when I was younger, so I would sometimes get in fights. Or rather, attacks. Though that almost completely went away after a few years, but soon after I'd gotten old enough to choose my own clothing and start making decisions on what I really liked and didn't really like, I wore all black. I'd sit to the side and read during recess. I didn't speak up in class. I wouldn't participate in sports or extracurricular activities. All the way into my freshman year of high school, everyone was sure I hated them. People warned new kids to steer clear of me, and I never had a true friend. Thank you for loving me, for being my eyes when I couldn't see, for parting my lips when I couldn't breathe. Thank you for loving me. Even if we were struggling with money or crazy schedules, we always found time to have fun. My aunt takes us on these excursions for our Christmas presents. From New York to a Polar Express ride to whale watching. We've done lots of cool things, and I have so many great memories with her. My mom is 20 kinds of crazy, but she's the best mother I could ever ask for. She's the type of person who chaperones school field trips and actually does the activities with the kids. She's the type of person who comes up with things to do when we're bored, like having a shaving cream war in our backyard. She's the type of person who never lets her age or physical ailments take away from a good time, even if she'll be laid up in bed for the next week. She is the one who's always there for me, supporting me, caring for me, listening to me when I'm being selfish or stupid, and can always make me laugh, even if that's not her intention. My dad is also a great guy. He's always there to support me, even if he doesn't quite know how to handle me. He's caring, works hard, and tries his best to give us kids a good life. And my brother, well, he's my brother. He's a total pain, but I love him. Even when life is kicking me in the butt and I don't know what I'm going to do next, they're always there for me. If I wasn't here tomorrow, would anybody care? If my time was up, I'd wanna know you were happy I was there. If I wasn't here tomorrow, would anyone lose sleep? If I wasn't hard and hollow, then maybe you would miss me. I know I'm a mess and I wanna be someone that I like better. Can you help me forget? Don't wanna feel like this forever. What if I just pulled myself together? Would it matter at all? What if I just try not to remember? Would it matter at all? All the chances that have passed me by. Would it matter if I gave it one more try? Would it matter at all? It's hard being different. To this day, I've never had a proper love life. To this day, I only have one friend in real life whom I've only seen once since graduation a year ago. I search for solace on the internet, type it into Google and find chat boxes. Gentle words come from those who don't know me. Fake friendships from those whose faces I've never seen. But it's nothing I can rely on. The outward anger turned to self-hate, self-loathing even. It turned into depression. Depression became crying, crying became hurting, hurting became cutting, and cutting became suicide. I've attempted twice, and came close to a third. When people saw my scars, they'd stare at them for a moment, and then turn their heads away, as if they made me ugly, as if it were like some weird physical deformity that they couldn't look away from at first, but then feel disgusted to turn and see. It made me feel disgusting. Like it was wrong for me to hurt. Like it was wrong for me to feel anything but happiness. So I shut it away. I made my face blank, putting up a shield so no one can see inside of me. I guess it's part of the problem. But what else can one do? If all they can show is pain or nothing, would you want to hang out with someone like that? But I won't let it stop me. I won't beat myself up anymore. I have for so long. I need to see myself through my family's eyes and the eyes of those who do love me. Made a wrong turn once or twice, dug my way out, blood and vine, bad decisions, that's alright. Welcome to my sin night. Mistreated, displaced, misunderstood, knowing it's all good. It didn't slow me down. Mistaken is always second guessing, underestimated. Look, I'm still around. Pretty, pretty please, don't you ever feel like you're less than fucking perfect. Pretty, pretty please, if you ever feel like you're nothing, you're fucking perfect to me.
I was never exposed to sexism until I started college. Growing up, I was never aware of how oppressive the system was because I had the privilege of identifying as a man. Now that I've claimed my womanhood, I will have to deal with sexual harassment on a daily basis, and that's apparently my own fault because I invite it by wearing shorts. I live in New Orleans. What else am I supposed to wear in daily weather? It's the middle of summer. I'm taught that because I am a woman, I will have to deal with sexual harassment on a daily basis. Gender roles started to get imposed onto me. I had to present myself as a stereotypical woman in order to be a woman. The majority of people who stressed these values onto me were my friends. They had good intentions. They wanted me to feel like a woman on the inside. But the reality is, they projected their heteronormative values onto me, and it disconnected me from the inherent feelings regarding my presentation. I hate wearing dresses. I'm tired of people colonizing my identity and assuming that my only purpose in life is to submit myself to men. I own my own damn body, so leave me alone.
Us. That's all we want to be.
We don't want to be asked to choose a label.
We don't want to try and define ourselves.
If you want to know who we are, then learn.
Interact with us.
Speak to us.
Listen to us.
Define us by who we are.
Not what we say we are.